Hello and welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom, the show where we zoom in on the subtle signals our bodies send us and figure out what they mean for our health. Consider us your personal interpreters of those cryptic messages, sprinkled with a good helping of humor, because, hey, the only thing better than feeling healthy is having a good laugh along the way. I'm Ethan Foster, your resident observer of the human condition, keenly tuned into every quirk we humans exhibit, but delivering my findings with a dry wit.
And I'm Alara Skye, a sharp mind with an even sharper tongue, and I can't stress sharp enough. I like to bring insights and comedic commentary to the natural health realm. Together, we'll guide you through some fascinating health concepts gleaned from Dr. Mercola's research, this time focusing on the silent language your hands use to whisper sweet nothings or dire warnings about your health.
Alara, let's start with a simple truth. Everyone has hands.
That's a revolutionary statement, Ethan. I'm not sure the world is ready for that level of insight.
I'm here to keep us grounded in the basics. But more specifically, I want to talk about how our hands can send signals we often miss. For instance, your nails might be trying to say something about your immune system, your circulatory health, or even your thyroid. Some nails scream, "Pay attention," while others merely whisper it.
And that's because nails are like little mood rings for the body. If your nails could talk, they'd say, "We're not just here for pretty polish or for scratching that impossible itch on your back. We're also here to rat you out if something's off inside."
So let's break down the big signs. We've got color changes, texture changes, shape changes, like pale nails possibly indicating anemia, or even a deficiency in iron.
Right. Pale nails can happen when your body doesn't produce enough healthy red blood cells. It's almost like your nails are telling you, "Hey buddy, can you spare some iron?" It's that silent cry for help that we often ignore.
Then there's the ominous yellow nail. It could be just leftover stains from that neon orange polish you had on 2 weeks ago. Or it could be something more serious, like a fungal infection or even a lung issue.
Exactly. If you're sporting bright yellow nails and can't blame it on that bargain bin polish you tried, it might be time to think about other causes. Sometimes the nails become thick, slow-growing, and downright rebellious. I can imagine them saying, "You think you can file us back into shape? Good luck with that."
And if your nails resemble the color of the ocean after an oil spill, kind of bluish, then we've got a potential oxygenation problem. That might signal lung or heart issues.
That's right. When nails turn blue, your bloodstream might be short on oxygen. It's like your nails are auditioning for a mermaid-themed party, but forgetting to ask if there's enough oxygen in the tank.
I have to say, the more you talk, the more I'm glancing down at my nails, wondering if they're about to reveal a secret. Let's also mention that interesting phenomenon called nail pitting.
Nail pitting looks like someone took a miniature ice pick to your nails. It can be associated with psoriasis, where your body's immune system acts like it's double-parked, in overdrive, telling your skin cells to multiply faster than a rabbit family on holiday. So if you notice these little divots, you might want to look into some deeper immune-related issues.
Then we have clubbing. The nails curve around the fingertips, making the tips look sort of bulbous or drumstick-like. That's often tied to chronic low oxygen, possibly indicating heart or lung conditions.
Yep. It's like your body's going, "We've run low on oxygen, so we're going to expand this real estate in the fingertips to try and compensate." It's strange, but also brilliant, like your body's plan B to get more oxygen circulating.
Now let's pivot to the skin on your hands. Dry skin is one thing, but there are more distinct changes you might see. For instance, if you've got severely cracked and itchy skin, that might be a sign of eczema.
Right. Eczema basically means your immune system is on the offensive when it shouldn't be. Think of it like your immune system being a friend who tries to help you clean your apartment but throws out half your stuff because it thinks everything's garbage. Eczema's that misguided friend.
That's an interesting metaphor, Alara. I appreciate how your comedic brilliance seamlessly merges with your ability to deliver scientific analogies.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, dryness plus other symptoms, like maybe you're gaining weight or feeling super tired, could hint at a thyroid issue, specifically hypothyroidism. The thyroid is a bit like the body's internal thermostat and manager of metabolic processes. When it's slacking off, the skin can get dry, as if the skin's water bill hasn't been paid.
So, if your skin is channeling a desert aesthetic and you can't blame it on forgetting your hand lotion, that might be a clue. I'm also thinking about psoriasis again, because it often shows up on the hands as well, with silvery scales that can crack and bleed.
It's like the body is producing new skin cells too fast. Instead of calmly painting one coat at a time, it's just slapping on new layers of paint until you've got a lumpy wall.
And we have Raynaud's phenomenon, which can cause your fingers to turn white or blue when you're cold or stressed. Picture this. You walk into an air-conditioned room and your fingers suddenly look like you've been dunking them in ice water. That's Raynaud's.
It's basically your blood vessels going on a mini strike. They say, "Nope, no warm blood for you," and clamp down, turning your fingers into color-coded temperature gauges. Then when blood flow returns, it can get tingly or even painful. A real party trick if you enjoy freaking people out with your suddenly white or blue hands.
Let's dig into hand pain, not the typical "I moved a couch all by myself" type pain, but the kind that lingers and might indicate something like rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis.
Rheumatoid arthritis is that misguided immune system friend again, except now it's going after your joints, causing inflammation and pain. Osteoarthritis is more like the old pair of shoes that's worn down from too much use. In your joints, the cartilage is wearing away, leading to friction, pain, and possibly some interesting sound effects when you move.
Gout is another suspect. Usually we think about gout as attacking the big toe, but it can also go after the hands. It's basically your joints being assaulted by uric acid crystals. Imagine sprinkling salt crystals on a wound.
Indeed. The crystals build up and you end up with red, hot, swollen joints. It's like a hostile takeover by minuscule troublemakers.
Another issue is swelling and numbness, which can result from conditions like carpal tunnel syndrome or even lymphedema.
Carpal tunnel is when the median nerve in your wrist is pinched like a poorly placed headphone wire. You suddenly lose feeling or get tingling in your thumb, index, or middle finger, making everyday tasks annoying. Lymphedema, on the other hand, is fluid retention because your lymphatic system is blocked or damaged. So you might get swelling in your hands if your body can't effectively drain that fluid.
And kidneys can also be behind persistent swelling. If your kidneys aren't filtering properly, fluid can build up in your tissues, including your hands and feet. It's a reminder that your body's plumbing system needs regular maintenance as much as any other.
Let's move to another interesting clue: redness of the hands. Sometimes it's just from a hot day or an embarrassing conversation. But if it's persistent, it could point toward liver disease, rheumatoid arthritis, or even something going on with your thyroid.
I like that you mentioned embarrassment as a cause for red hands. That's definitely the first thing that came to my mind. Sweaty, clammy hands from stage fright. But sure, there are other possibilities.
And let's not forget that big, underappreciated hint: hand grip strength. This might be my favorite because it's so easy to test. All you need is one of those little hand grippers, or you can just see if you can open that stubborn jar of pickles.
Right, the dreaded pickle jar test. If you can open it, it might not just be the brand of pickles. It might mean your grip strength is on the decline. Studies have linked grip strength to everything from immune function to heart health.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Researchers have found that if you have a weak grip, it can correlate with poor circulation or lower immunity. It's basically your hand's way of telling you, we're losing muscle tone here, and that might mean trouble elsewhere.
It's like that old carnival game where you test your strength by whacking something with a mallet. Except here, it's less dramatic. You just can't open the peanut butter jar and have to ask for help.
Now, there's a simple test known as the modified Allen test. It basically checks how well your blood flows through two main arteries in your wrist, the radial and the ulnar.
Right. If one artery is blocked, the other should still supply enough blood to your hand, assuming your system is all connected properly. In the test, they press down on both arteries, you open your hand, they release one artery, and watch how quickly your hand returns to a nice pink color.
If your hand stays looking pale like a ghost for more than a few seconds, that might not be good. It might mean your arteries aren't picking up the slack. Your hand is basically saying, hey, who turned off the lights?
It's an interesting way to see if your circulatory system is robust or if it's decided to take some unscheduled breaks. If you get a negative result, where color doesn't come back quickly, that's a sign you might have to ask, is something up with my arteries or with my overall circulation?
So as we look at all these possible signs, nails changing color, cracking, pitting, clubbing, skin dryness, pain, and swelling, your hands act as silent messengers, alerting you to underlying health problems. If you notice any persistent or concerning changes, it's wise to get them evaluated. Early detection makes a huge difference.
I always find it amazing that our body tries to tell us these things in ways that are visible if we just pay attention. We often look at our hands every day, but do we really see them?
Precisely. Our hands can be sneaky. They might show off a chipped manicure or remind us we forgot to moisturize, but they can also drop subtle hints about more serious health issues.
I like to think of these changes as the body's push notifications. You know how your phone alerts you with a banner across the screen? Well, the nails, the skin, the joints, they're all sending those notifications.
If only we had an option to toggle them on or off. But in real life, we can't swipe these warnings away. We can only heed them or ignore them at our own peril.
Let's circle back to how these changes can encourage us to take preventive steps. If I notice something unusual, like a weird new ridge on my nail or a tingling in my fingers, it's an opportunity to explore what might be off in my diet, lifestyle, or stress management.
True. If you catch certain conditions early, the path to managing them might be smoother. For instance, if you notice that you're losing grip strength, maybe you start a light strength training routine or investigate nutritional tweaks to support muscle mass.
Or if you see your nails going pale and suspect anemia, you can look at iron-rich foods or other ways to support healthy red blood cell production, because sometimes a small tweak can correct a subtle imbalance before it grows into a bigger issue.
Exactly. And if your hands are always freezing, turning white or blue, maybe it's time to look at your circulation or stress levels. Raynaud's phenomenon might just be the tip of the iceberg that indicates a bigger circulatory concern.
Yes, it's like a little beep on your body's radar screen. If you track it, you might discover what's beneath the surface.
All this talk about subtle signs reminds me of the bigger picture. The idea that our health is never just about one system. It's interconnected. Something going on with your nails could mean a heart concern, or your thyroid, or your immune system. Everything's woven together.
Precisely. It's not about panic or hypochondria. It's about awareness. The last thing we want is for everyone to start diagnosing themselves with 12 conditions, because their nails are a shade off from perfect. But we do want people to realize these little signs can be worth checking out.
That's right. It's about balancing vigilance with reason. If your nails have been weirdly yellow for a while and you don't own any neon polishes, maybe investigate. If your fingertips are regularly turning a Smurf-like color in mild weather, that's worth a second look. If your grip strength is in a nosedive, let's figure out why.
Because no one wants to discover a big health crisis that's been quietly announcing itself the whole time, right at their fingertips, literally.
Speaking of fingertips, there's one detail we should highlight. The lunula, or that whitish half-moon shape at the base of your nail. In a healthy scenario, it's visible on your thumbs and maybe a few other fingers. Sometimes people notice it's disappearing or changing color.
I'm giving my thumbs an exam right now. They look normal to me. But yes, the lunula can also be a subtle sign. Some say if it's absent or extremely small, it might indicate certain deficiencies or circulatory issues. It's all part of the same conversation.
It's like your nails get their cameo appearance in your everyday life. We often ignore them unless they're broken, but they're always there, quietly reflecting your internal environment.
And that reflection can be about oxygen levels, nutrient supplies, or immune system states, which are all crucial elements of overall well-being.
Let's also not forget the possibility of white spots on nails. They can be from a bump or bruise, or occasionally point to a zinc deficiency. Most commonly, though, they're harmless.
Right? Many times they're just the result of a minor trauma, like accidentally whacking your nail against a table. But if they're persistent and cover large areas, that might raise questions.
Exactly. And I know someone out there might be thinking, wow, I'm never going to look at my hands the same way again. Are they going to keep me up at night with all these cryptic signals? But remember, knowledge is power.
And comedic perspective is key. You can notice a symptom, investigate it, and still maintain your sense of humor. You might be reading your nails like a palm reader in training, but it's all in good health.
So if you see dryness, cracks, changes in color or shape, or you feel swelling, numbness, or a dramatic shift in your grip strength, it's your sign to take a step back and consider what your body might be telling you.
Exactly. Because ignoring these signs is like turning off notifications for a critical email. Sure, you can do that, but then you might miss something pretty important.
I'm going to start calling these urgent hand notifications. The next time someone says, "Why are you staring at your nails?" I'll say, "Shh, I'm reading my urgent hand notifications from the universe."
That sounds like a line you'd find printed on a coffee mug sold by a motivational guru, but it's not entirely off base.
Motivational or not, I think it fits. I also love that we can talk about nails and still find a deeper meaning. It's not just about vanity. It's about the story our bodies want to share.
While we're here, let's recap so our listeners have the bullet points in mind. Number 1, pale nails might mean anemia. Number 2, yellow nails could hint at everything from fungal infections to lung problems.
Number 3, bluish nails might indicate low blood oxygen, so maybe a lung or heart issue. Number 4, nail pitting is a common sign of psoriasis. Number 5, clubbing can point to chronic low oxygen, possibly from heart or lung conditions.
Then we have skin dryness on the hands, which could be eczema, psoriasis, or thyroid-related if it's super dry and cracked. Also keep an eye out for Raynaud's phenomenon, which can color your fingers like a patriotic flag if they turn red, white, and blue in the cold.
Right. Pain, swelling, or numbness could be related to arthritis, whether rheumatoid, osteoarthritis, or gout, carpal tunnel, lymphedema, or even kidney issues.
And let's not skip that cautionary note about swelling in the hands and feet if there's kidney trouble or if the lymphatic system isn't draining properly. Finally, let's not dismiss the role of grip strength in gauging overall health, especially muscle mass and cardiovascular function.
Don't forget the Allen test, which checks your hand's blood supply. If color returns too slowly, you might have some circulation issues that warrant a closer look.
All of these signs encourage us to pay more attention to our hands. It's not about turning everyone into full-time hand detectives. It's more about awareness.
Absolutely. We always say the best part of health is prevention. If you can catch something early, your future self will thank you for the convenience.
And hopefully, you can keep your comedic sense intact while you do. Because, let's face it, life's too short not to find humor in the fact that your nails might look like they're planning an art exhibit if something's off in your body.
Exactly. We want to learn from these clues, not live in fear of them. If your nails are just discolored because you tried a cheap brand of polish, well, that's an easy fix. But if it's consistent and unexplained, your nails might be waving a giant red or yellow flag.
Let's also remember how easily we can dismiss things. Someone might say, "My hands always get numb. It's no big deal." But sometimes it is. These signals can accumulate, and ignoring them might lead to bigger trouble down the line.
That's the hallmark of the phrase subtle signs. They're easy to overlook because they don't come with sirens or flashing lights.
Unless you've invented a fancy contraption that attaches sirens to your nails when they detect a problem, but for now, it's on us to pay attention.
You might have just given an entrepreneur the next $1 million idea. Smart Nails 2.0.
I'll be expecting my royalties.
Before we wrap up, let's do one final scan of this wealth of information. We started by talking about nails. Pale nails for anemia, yellow nails for possible lung or liver issues, bluish nails for poor oxygenation, pitting for psoriasis, and clubbing for chronic low oxygen.
Then we talked about the skin. Eczema, psoriasis, Raynaud's phenomenon, dryness that could be thyroid-related, and color changes pointing to circulation or even stress responses.
We covered pain and swelling, highlighting rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, gout, carpal tunnel, lymphedema, and kidney issues.
We definitely spotlighted the importance of grip strength, which can be a barometer for immunity, heart health, and overall muscle status.
And we gave a nod to the Allen test, which is a quick way to see if your arteries are playing nice and sharing the blood supply.
All in all, that's a treasure trove of hand-based health insights.
So if you're still with us, dear listener, we hope you'll leave this podcast feeling more connected to your hands, and perhaps a bit more respectful of their ability to tattle on your body's secrets.
That's the real advantage of cellular wisdom. It's about reading the signs and acting on them while there's still time to steer toward better health.
Absolutely. Because who knows, your hands might have the next big hint about your well-being. And if we ignore them, we might end up missing an early warning that could have made a huge difference.
So keep your sense of humor, but also keep your eyes open. That's the best approach.
Well, I guess we've nailed this conversation. Yes, pun intended.
I was going to say something similar, but you got there first. I bow to your punning prowess.
It's a skill, I admit. On that note, any final words for our listeners?
Just a final reminder. Your hands are brilliant communicators. Treat them like the wise sages they are. Check them regularly. Nails, skin, grip, and pay attention to any changes. It might save you a lot of headaches down the line.
And I'll add, remain curious. The body is intricate, and Dr. Mercola's research reminds us of how many signs we miss in our busy, screen-obsessed lives. Let's step away from our phones long enough to gaze upon our nails, not out of vanity, but out of respect for the signals they're giving us.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, that does it for this episode of Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm Ethan Foster.
And I'm Alara Skye. Thanks for giving your hands some attention today. Until next time, keep listening to your body's subtle cues, and keep laughing along the way.
Take care, and may your nails remain happily pinkish and your grip strong.
Now go forth and wave those healthy hands proudly.
See you next time.
Bye for now.